Welcome to That Great Business Show, episode 275. I am Conall Ó Móráin. We all know that the best businesses start when someone notices something that doesn't make sense and decides to fix it. That's exactly what Fiona Parfrey and her co-founder Owen Kilkenny did with We Are Riley. They looked at the period care industry, full of plastics, believe it or not, chemicals, yes, and what was once known as toxic shock syndrome. Horrible. They asked one simple question: why hasn't anyone done this before? Riley is an Irish B Corp certified brand delivering organic, sustainable period products direct to customers. And now, I've just found out, to hotels, and we get on to that in a minute. Again and again, we learned that your next great business idea is hiding right there in plain sight. And all of these great insights and opportunities come to you thanks to our sponsor, our benefactor, our pals down in Mayo, the makers of De facto shaving oil, the world's best shaving oil. Try it. Do you know what it's great for? It's great for young fellas starting out to shave. If they don't use that fuzzy stuff, this is so much easier, so much better. defactoshave.com. Fiona Parfrey, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, thank you for coming, because we were trying to get you for a while. But you have your co-founder is based in the UK. We were trying to have the two of you together, and that just proved impossible.
I know. Do you know what? Days like this, I wish she was sitting beside me and we could do things together. But I was on the phone to her on the way up, and we actually view it as our superpower, the fact that there's two of us. She was over in the UK at a very important retail meeting today, and I was able to come up here and do the podcast. So divide and conquer. And
I'm not allowed to mention anything at all about it, but if this happens, this will be huge.
Yeah, lots of potential. So,
well, we will be looking out. And if it were whatever this was going to happen, when might it happen?
Mid next year.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's a bit of a lead-in.
A bit of a lead-in.
Well, you make sure to come back to us mid next year and tell us all about it, because we love success. Now, we'll start at the very beginning, because that's a very good place to start. You've heard it before. We Are Riley. Why are you Riley? Why are you We Are Riley?
As in the name.
Yeah.
So Riley, the phrase in Ireland, to live the life of Riley, right? It means to live
But you're spelled R-I-L-E-Y, not R-E-I-L-L.
That's how you say the phrase, the life of Riley.
Oh, okay.
Or I-L-E-Y, right?
Okay,
and we discovered that when we Googled it as well.
Yeah.
It means to live a carefree existence. And when we had come up with the concept for the business and what we wanted to provide to our customer base, we wanted to take the stress, the worry, the anxiety that's related to periods out of it for our customer base and provide them with that carefree existence. So that's how we landed on the name.
Isn't it mad that in 2025, almost 2026, that there's still this problem?
It is beyond belief, and it's high time that it changes.
For anybody who does maths, 52% of any population is female. And as far as I know, almost all women have periods at some stage.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get it.
Well, I think we need to look at the bigger picture here, right? And female health in general is such a massively underserved area. And it is so frustrating, but it is just the way it's been since the dawn of time, really. We are forgotten about. We were excluded from clinical trials.
Which I learned when the ladies from Sisterly were on the podcast with me.
They are brilliant.
And I'm saying, you're not serious. And they say, no, we are serious. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, until 1993. Yeah. We were excluded from clinical trials.
Because, of course, you're way too airy-fairy.
Yeah, our hormone cycle is too complex to study. And
52% of the population.
Yes, yeah. It's actually infuriating if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's, I suppose, on that path, there's so many different areas within female health that are forgotten about, from the menstrual cycle through to menopause. And when we looked at the period care that we'd been using our whole lives and discovered that they are full of really harmful chemicals, up to 24 hormone-disrupting chemicals is in mainstream period care. And we couldn't find anything on the market at the time that was clean, that was organic, that was good for our bodies. We just felt compelled to do something about that.
And for those who don't remember, that toxic shock syndrome, that killed people, didn't it?
Yeah, so you have to be very careful with that. And I suppose toxic shock syndrome, it comes from actually the blood. That's what starts it all. But you're legally obliged as a period care manufacturer to have the information on toxic shock syndrome on every single box that you send to customers. So
But it's not happening now. Has there something been removed or
there's more
corrected?
education, right?
Okay.
So especially with brands like ours, that we're really trying to focus on female health education as part of, you know, what we do. And so people are more aware now that, you know, you have to remove your products in a certain time frame. Obviously, our products are free of any harmful chemicals as well.
Your pure cotton.
100% certified organic cotton is what we use. There's nothing else that goes into it. Even down to the string that's on a tampon. Typically, these would be glued in. So can you imagine? There's glue in tampons that you are then inserting into a very sensitive area of your body. Instead, for us, we did not want to do that. So they're cleverly like woven in during manufacturing to avoid chemicals like glue.
Presumably at an extra cost.
At an extra cost. But, you know, your health is your wealth.
Okay, go back to the business. I mean, first of all, you're small because there are the big brands are Procter Gamble, Unilever, who owns Kotex?
Kotex.
And there's another one that I didn't recognize, U&M or something like that.
OB maybe, is it?
No, it was, I think it was one in the Far East or something.
Okay.
And they own 50% of the market, if I read correctly. So there are big beasts. And I presume big beasts don't like little beasts like you.
No, they don't. But at the same time, if you think about the likes of P&G and the likes of Unilever, the female sanitary category for them is such a tiny, tiny part of their business.
But it's also 43 billion value, and it's going to go to 73 billion in very, very soon.
Right, but they're neglecting it.
Yeah.
You know, they're neglecting these products, and we do have higher quality, healthier, cleaner products. So for the consumers that are out there looking for things that are better for their bodies, it's high time that people like us come in and shake up the market a little bit.
And when did you start thinking about it, and how did you start thinking about it?
Well, the idea for Riley came about over a glass of wine with my co-founder, Anya. Like, all good things happen over wine.
Great place to start.
Yeah, I suppose we've always been really, really passionate about our health and well-being. And, you know, we look into what we eat, what kind of skincare we use, all of the ingredients in these things. And we got talking one night and realised that we'd never really looked into what's in our period products. And so we did the little Googling and came across a study that had been published earlier that year in March 2020 from the New York State Department of Health that said that there was up to 24 endocrine disrupting chemicals in mainstream period products. And we nearly fell off our chairs. And so the very next day, we started, you know, trying to find an alternative on the market in Ireland. It is peak COVID time, couldn't find anything. And so we thought, okay, not only should we go ahead and look at creating a product that is cleaner, that people don't need to worry about, but also, like, let's make this way more convenient for women. Why isn't it just delivered to our door on a subscription service basis? Most people know that this is going to happen to them every month. And there's, you know, when we did our market research, up to 95% of women have, you know, had to scramble and run to the supermarket because they've forgotten. It happens to everybody.
Or there's sons or daughters or the dads are sent.
Exactly, running out to get stuff.
And I am that soldier.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you for that. And, you know, that's just the kind of inconvenience that we want to take away from the already busy lives of all of these women. So we deliver to your door on a subscription service basis. But I suppose further to that, once we launched the website and the business, we started reframing our thinking even further. And we got to thinking, wait a second, why aren't these just in every single bathroom that you walk into, right? It's a normal bodily function. Can you imagine going to the office and work and having to bring your own toilet paper?
Great analogy.
Right?
It is, yeah.
And that's what we have had to do our entire lives. Or if you're out at the gym or a restaurant, you have to bring your own product or else you're caught off guard. And so we're really trying to disrupt the way that period care is consumed. And we want it just to be provided in the bathroom, just like hand soap, just like toilet paper.
And you've got lovely little boxes. I was again looking at the website and it's gorgeous the way that you present them. It looks very high quality.
Yeah, well, I suppose the product is so important to us and we take the quality very, very seriously. And so, yeah, I suppose we did rebrand this year. The look and feel of the brand has definitely grown up with us, and we're very, very proud of it.
Now, go back to 2020 when you were thinking. You were not thinking of a business, were you? You were not in business. You've got a lovely backstory. You've done a lot of other things.
Yeah, well, I actually was running another business. So I was a solo entrepreneur running this business by myself, and I was not looking for another venture. But COVID, my previous business was very much focused on the travel industry, and COVID had really thrown a spanner in the works for me that year.
Did that for a while, yeah.
Yes, it totally threw my business on its knees overnight. And I was scrambling all that year to pivot and to be resilient and to keep up. But what happened was it was really, really tough, and I was doing it by myself. And so when the idea for Riley came about, it kind of lit another fire in my belly.
Isn't that fantastic? We really admire, this is the whole reason I do this podcast, is because I love people like you who have that fire in the belly and who say, oh my God, this is not working. We'll try another one.
Yeah.
Because you have to scratch the itch.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I learned so much from that first business as well that I think really helped us get to market really quickly with Riley. Potentially a little even too quickly, but we...
What happened that it was too quick?
Well, I suppose what happened was, I'll give you a little timeline. We came up with the business idea, I think it was the 11th of December.
It was on the third glass of wine, I think.
This is on the third glass of wine in 2020, right? We were talking about it for about a full 10 days, and we looked at each other and we said, look, let's park this over Christmas and see if we're like very, very serious about it and come back in the new year with fresh heads. Reconvened on the 4th of January, said, let's go. Registered the business by the 7th of January. We'd launched to market by April 27th. So within 4 months, we were live on market.
And you had obviously at that stage managed to manufacture your product, yeah?
Yeah.
And where was that being manufactured?
So we sourced some manufacturers in Europe, two different manufacturers. We got the product very quickly. We launched to market with the epitome of an MVP. Like, it was very much thrown together. We were down in my co-founder's house in West Cork.
MVP, minimum viable
product. Like, so far from perfect, but I really believe if you're looking for perfect, you're never going to launch. So we just got to work and we were packing boxes ourselves in my friend's garage, my co-founder's garage. And we were just, I suppose, trying to see if there was market traction for this. And immediately, within like a couple of days, we had subscribers. Within a week, we had a big corporate reach out to us. Actually, Vodafone here in Dublin reach out to us to stock their bathrooms.
Good for Vodafone.
Yeah, Anne O'Leary,
from Cork.
From Cork, yeah. Who was CEO at the time, was spearheading it. And we did not have a corporate offering at the time, but of course we picked up the phone and said, absolutely, we can do that. And so that showed us really quickly within a number of weeks that there is opportunity here. So I sold my other business and my co-founder handed in her notice and we just dove headfirst into it. And here we are.
Well, go through the next couple of stages because you have to fund and you have to grow because you have to get product and you have to stock product and then you have to ship product.
Yeah.
That's when the headaches start.
Yeah, and there's been many, many headaches along the way. It's definitely been a journey. There's been ups and downs for sure. We raised capital towards the end of that first year in business.
Friends and family or?
A mix of a crowdfund, which friends and family went through, and then a handful of angel investors. So we raised about 750k.
That's not bad.
Yeah, which was great to allow us to...
When you actually landed your 750k that night or that day, what did that feel like?
Honestly, it's a bit of an anticlimax.
Why?
It's a bit of an anticlimax.
Well, you're probably saying you should have gone for 1.5 million or something.
Well, I think, you're pitching for so long and you're working on term sheets and contracts for so long that by the time it happens, you've moved on in your head to the next thing in the business. Yeah. So, I mean, it was incredible to see it in the bank and say, okay, now we can actually start hiring and building a team and all of that. But we'd moved on to the next thing, So sorry to burst your bubble with that answer.
That's the truth. That's all I want on this podcast is what it really is like.
Yeah.
So you've raised your cash and you're now having to stock and all the rest. So you also have to make some noise in the marketplace to tell people that you're here. What did you do?
We did a lot of organic storytelling of our journey.
Using
Instagram, using TikTok, which helped us massively.
You've also got a lot of very good press.
We've got a lot of good press. I was just going to touch on that because the Irish press in particular have been so supportive of what we're doing. The fact that we are female founders addressing a female health issue in the middle of COVID. So that was really, really helpful. Within, the first year or 18 months of business, we had started winning a lot of awards, which gave us a lot of credibility and trust.
I keep telling everybody, go for awards.
Yeah.
And that gives you both trust, yes, but also visibility.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really,
What
really
did you
helped
win?
us. Oh God, we've won 12 awards now.
What are the big ones?
We won the Image Businesswoman of the Year awards. We won a sustainability award there. We were an EOY finalist, which was huge for
brilliant.
us. Yeah, that was
that's
really
good company.
great. Yeah, really great network and alumni. And that's one that we're really, really proud of. Ecom Live, we've won a few awards there. Tatler, just such amazing support from all of these organizations. But what we really decided to focus on after about the first 2 years in business, we were running both our direct consumer channel and our B2B side of the business side by side with a very, very small team. And
2, 3, 4?
There was about 5 of us at that point. But we really realized that our messaging was getting very diluted, and even internally we were getting a bit distracted about what was important. So we made the very scary call at the time to double down and focus completely on our corporate sales. So building out our enterprise clients. And we turned off all of our performance marketing for our online side of the business, switched that off overnight.
And have you given that up now?
No, we've actually just more recently turned that back on.
See, this is a terrible thing about business, isn't it? You know that there are people who want your product out there, and you don't want to say no to them.
No, we don't, but we had to get one thing right.
Okay.
So we spent, I suppose, all of 23 and 24 really focusing on the corporate sales. We've built out our sales team now. We've got an amazing sales team. We've grown out in the UK and across Europe. We have over 350 enterprise clients. It's a very secure, recurring revenue for us.
Nice.
It's really sustainable for the business. And now it's time that we can say, okay, what other channels can we kind of switch back on and leverage? So we switched back on our online marketing for D2C earlier this year. And we're also really focused at looking at retail for next year and beyond.
Anybody else doing anything like you're doing?
Yes, there are. So we have quite a lot of competitors, particularly in the UK market, who are doing organic period care like us.
And did they look at you? Or are they copying you, do you think?
Interestingly enough, a lot of them have moved into the corporate space in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But just, I suppose, to echo Roger, your previous guest, it's really about education in the market. And the more people, the more companies, the more brands like ours talking about this and I suppose waking up the consumers to what actually is in those mainstream period products, the better. And so I think there is space for all of us. It's a huge addressable market. And yeah, it's competition is healthy.
So when you're lying awake, I was going to say asleep at night, we were not doing that. When you're lying awake at night, what's the dream?
So I guess we view ourselves as a female health company and we're very, very passionate about that. I think for us, Riley is more than just a product. We're a brand that champion women's well-being. We celebrate women's ambition and we really like to open up space for honest conversations around the, I suppose, womanhood of today, right? Which is essentially a balancing act because we have careers, we are still the primary caregivers at home. There's so much for us to focus on. So ultimately, the dream for us is to be that support for women through every life cycle that they, from menstruation, through to beyond, from, fertility, menopause, all of that. There's a long way to go. However, we right now are focusing on what we do best, which is focused on menstruation and hormonal health. And with that, we know that it is the problem we're solving transcends borders and cultures. And so we can take this, through to all 4 corners of the world.
And if you were to do so, it needs more funding.
Yes.
a constant on this little podcast.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to go again? Do you have to go again?
So we actually did raise a second bout of capital in 2023, which we raised 1.5 million at that point.
Tell me that was a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, it was, to be fair.
Twice as exciting as 750.
It was more challenging, actually, at that point to raise capital. The market had changed quite a bit. And so it was a bit more of a win for us.
But now that you have the recurring revenue, every investor loves a bit of recurring revenue.
Yes, yeah. And I think, we're not in a position where we need capital right now, which is a great position for us to be in. That being said, we have very big ambitions for the future. And,
Which, like what?
So I suppose we are looking at all different channels, like I spoke about, retail being a very big focus for us next year. We're also looking at different markets.
Obviously the UK. Beyond there, what's your next one after that?
So we ship throughout Europe at the moment. We ship to over 35 countries.
From where?
So we ship from our warehouse in Dublin. It's not the most efficient supply chain right now, to be honest. So there's huge opportunity there because we manufacture in mainland Europe. So we could...
There's Red Sky Europe.
Yes.
They have a unit in Netherlands. I think we've had them on the programme. I think, am I right in that? Have you been chatting to them?
I met them briefly at an event, so actually they're a good one I should reach out to soon.
Somebody else, when the Suez Canal, not the Suez Canal, the other canal broke, Panama Canal, when it shut down, I got a fella called Chris Deans in here and we had a great chat about supply chain.
Yes.
It opened my eyes, my ears, my nose, my everything to it.
Yeah.
How it actually works eventually is beyond me because every little bit can just fall and fall. So when you are trying to distribute across Europe, Dublin is probably not the easiest place.
No, and I suppose I see that as an opportunity, because we've done a lot of work in the last 12 to 18 months to tighten up our supply chain, and we've seen our gross margins improve month on month consistently for the last 12 months, which is an amazing position to be in. But there's still more that we can do to make it more efficient. So that really excites me.
Squeeze. Are you the head of Squeeze?
I love a squeeze, yes. Make it tight as possible. Because we were leaking in so many areas for so long. There's only so much, I suppose, you can focus on at once. So there's lots of opportunity there. But I think, longer term, when we're talking about markets, obviously the US is just
the big one.
The big one to go after.
But I presume that, and I'll go back to your Unilevers, you don't have to mention them, I'll mention them for you. They're going to try to squash it. They don't like competition. And we did I was talking to the aforementioned Roger Courtney before about this, is that we did a programme somewhere along the line where we were talking about competition and everybody says, we welcome competition. No, they don't. Everybody hates competition. So if they see you, let us say that because you've got that B Corp, is the B Corp status. So first of all, you might just explain it. And secondly, has it been advantageous to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
It's such a rigorous process. So the B Corp certificate is like the highest standard of ethical and environmental certification that you can get that is globally recognised. It took us about 11 months to go through the process and get certified, and it does really set us apart from competition. So if we do go to the US and we have those big giants, coming after us, we have to be very clever about how we set ourselves apart, who we target as our customers. I think it would be a long, long time before we go after direct to consumer or retail in the US. But we know that there's an opportunity in that enterprise corporate world where people aren't really focused on as much as we are. We also add additional value to the corporates that we partner with by, we have online menstrual health training programs for their teams that they can do online to educate people about menstrual health. We go, again, above and beyond of being just a product. And I think that really does resonate with the partners that we work with.
And that hasn't eased, as in people haven't changed their minds about B Corps now that Mr. Trump is trying to push back on all ESG and all that kind of stuff?
I think there's probably two sides of the coin with that. There's definitely those that are having their budgets slashed. But there's also a cohort of people that I believe that do believe that it's the time to shout even louder about this kind of stuff. That being said, we also have to be clever about how we pitch our product and to whom, right? So if we're going into a corporate and we know that their ESG budget and their resources are being questioned or are being slashed, we look at how we can position our product to be a productivity tool for employees. So if you think about it, right, I'm caught off guard on this manufacturing plant and don't have any period products. I either can't leave my manufacturing line to go and get them, which is a human rights concern in my opinion, or I have to pause everything and get to the nearest shop and come back, and then they restart the manufacturing line, which is an efficiency problem. And so we're actually working with the likes of, say, Boston Scientific now, who can see that by just having the products there in the bathroom, it's making their teams and their manufacturing lines work in a much more efficient way. So I think the way you pitch what you're selling to suit who you're speaking to is incredibly important.
There's a load of final questions because they always pop into my head at my last moment. Just because I'm thinking about it is, when the big boys come, P&G and Unilever and all, will you sell?
Look, we're not looking to sell right now.
Right now, but in the future.
Well, I guess we're very realistic, right? So I absolutely love what we're doing right now. My co-founder does. There's so much more that we want to do and that we can do. We're also very realistic that hopefully the business will get to a certain point where we may not be the right people to lead it. We've never had any shame in asking for help and doing what we can do to benefit the company. And if we get to a point in time where that means bringing in a strategic partner so that we can excel the company, or excel the company's growth, we'll be open to it.
Did you ever do any of the EI courses, the Going for Growth?
Yes, I've done Going for Growth. Yes, so
Paula Fitzsimons. One of our heroes.
Yes. So I did Back for Business with my previous business when I returned home from...
Again, another Paula Fitzsimons.
So that's how I met Paula. And then with Riley, I've done Starting Strong and Going for Growth. And it's been absolutely incredible. She is a powerhouse. I just adore her.
Any woman entrepreneur watching, have a chat with Paula.
Yes, I just spoke to a female entrepreneur on the car on the way up here who's looking to launch a business next year. And it's the first thing I said is apply for Going for Growth.
Well, the second thing they should do when they launch, come onto the podcast.
Yes, I'll put you in touch.
We back women entrepreneurs. Final question type of thing is, who would you hire in a heartbeat?
It's a great question. So for us, I think an amazing hire would be a woman called Dr. Hazel Wallace. She is a doctor she's Irish, but she's based over in London. And she is a women's health nutritionist and an absolute expert when it comes to menstrual cycles and hormonal health. She's written 2 books, The Female Factor and Not Just a Period. So she's a wealth of knowledge. But additionally to that, she is an incredible content creator and just a great creator of I suppose, making all of this information really digestible to people. And we're doing so much at Riley to try and give women the power of that knowledge. But at the same time, we're very, very aware that we are not doctors. So we would love to partner with Hazel or someone like her that could help us with that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
So is Hazel available? Have you spoken with her?
We've tried to reach out to her. She's just actually announced that she's sitting on the Boots' new health board, which is great because Boots are very focused on female health. So I'm sure she's pretty tied up with that. But any sort of hormonal health
You just
expert.
told me that women can do about 400 things at the same time. She could give you a decode.
Look, you never know. We'd love it.
Hazel, come on over. That is really, really interesting. And when the big announcement happens, please come back and tell us.
Crossed.
And you might bring your pal Oina with you as
yes,
well.
Yes, we'd love that, yeah.
Well, your door always open because we love
Conall.
these stories. And thank you so much for coming in. That is Fiona Parfrey, Parfrey's of Cork. That is it for episode 275 of That Great Business Show. Insights and opportunities, as you have just heard on every episode. The smartest business idea is, as we have heard, is the simplest one. Notice that gap, care enough to close it, and do it better than anyone else. Simple as. We've just saved you your MBA costs for Harvard and or Smurfit or wherever. Now, thanks to our show sponsor, De Facto Shaving Oil, the all-natural, all-Irish way to keep your face nick-free. I say all-Irish, but he ships all across the world. It is ideal, as I mentioned, for those young lads starting out to shave. A big thanks to the team here at Dublin South FM, Lee Brennan, Richard Ryan, Neil Horner, and Peter Rice for doing what they do here so well. And if you liked what you heard, tell just one other business owner. It helps us grow our business. But tune in next time because we are, after all, That Great Business Show. I am Conall Ó Móráin. Thank you for listening. And as ever, míle buchas agus slán tamil.